Okay, so imagine this. You find out you've been missing out on thousands of dollars. Like not just a few bucks, but a serious chunk of change.
Wow.
And it's actually happening right now to over 3.2 million people.
Oh, wow.
Who had their Social Security benefits reduced. And guess what?
What?
They're getting that money back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And back out. It's incredible how quickly things are moving.
Isn't it?
We're seeing a huge shift in how Social Security benefits are being calculated and paid out.
Right.
And it's all happening much faster than anyone expected.
I know. Before we even get into the details, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on this important topic. Staying informed about these changes could really make a difference in your financial well-being.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is about the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset, or WEP and GPO.
Right.
These rules have been affecting people who worked in jobs where they didn't pay Social Security taxes but earned a pension. Think teachers, firefighters, federal employees.
Yeah.
Because of WEP and GPO, their Social Security benefits were reduced, sometimes drastically, even if they later worked jobs that did pay into Social Security.
So even though they worked and paid into Social Security later on, they were penalized for having a pension from a previous job.
Exactly. And this has been a major point of contention for years. Many people felt these provisions were unfair, essentially penalizing people for working in public service. But now, with the Social Security Fairness Act, those reductions are gone.
And here's the kicker. It's retroactive to January 2024.
That's right. Social Security is issuing lump sum payments to cover the months people were underpaid.
Wow.
And the amazing thing is that most people will see this money by the end of March 2025.
So for many people, it's really as simple as money just showing up in their accounts.
For a lot of folks, yes, Social Security is handling the majority of these cases automatically.
Oh, wow.
So you might not even have to do anything. The money will simply be deposited into your bank account.
That's fantastic news. But what about those with more complicated cases? What should they be doing?
Well, if you have a more complex work history, maybe a mix of pensions or survivor benefits, it might take a little longer. Those cases need to be reviewed manually. The best thing you can do is check your Social Security account online. You can also wait for a mailed notice. The Social Security Administration is sending out letters explaining the changes.
But a lot of people might actually see the money in their accounts before they even get a notice, right?
That's right. And one more important tip. If you're wondering about your new benefit amount, wait until after your April payment arrives. That's when the new higher amount will be reflected.
This is a great time to remind everyone. If you were previously denied Social Security benefits or had them reduced because of WEP or GPO, it's absolutely worth reapplying. You might be eligible now.
I agree. This is a game changer for many who may have given up hope of receiving benefits. It's definitely worth exploring if your situation has changed.
Now we'd love to hear from you. Has you or someone you know been impacted by WEP or GPO? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to give us a like.
Yes, please.
Hearing from those directly affected helps us understand the real-world impact of these changes. Now let's talk numbers.
Okay.
Just how much money are we talking about here? Because some people might see a small increase, while others could see a much larger one, especially if their benefits were previously cut down to almost nothing.
Exactly. The increase you see will depend on things like the amount of your pension, your Social Security work history, and the type of benefit you're receiving. And for those retroactive payments, we could be talking about thousands of dollars.
Thousands?
Yes.
So those lump sum payments are based on how much they were underpaid over time.
That's right. It's a significant amount of money being returned to people who rightfully earned it.
This is truly remarkable. It's a major shift. It's putting money back in the pockets of millions of people.
And the fact that Social Security is handling this much faster than expected means most people will see the impact within weeks, not years.
That's impressive. It seems they recognize the urgency of the situation. Now, let's get into some specific examples of how these changes might actually play out in real life.
Let's say we have a retired teacher who worked for 30 years in a state where they didn't pay Social Security taxes but received a pension. Let's say their pension is $2,000 per month. Then they worked another 10 years in a job where they did pay into Social Security under the old rules. Their Social Security benefit would have been significantly reduced because of the WEP.
So even though they worked for 10 years and paid into Social Security, Their benefit was still reduced.
Yes, precisely because they had that pension from their teaching job. But now with the Social Security Fairness Act,
Right.
that penalty is gone. They'll receive their full Social Security benefit based on those 10 years of contributions in addition to their pension. This could mean a substantial increase in their monthly income.
That's got to be a life-changing difference for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And remember, this applies to survivor benefits too. Let's say our hypothetical teacher passes away.
Okay.
Their spouse, who also receives a government pension, would have seen their survivor benefits drastically reduced under the old GPO rules.
So even though their spouse worked and paid into Social Security,
Right.
their survivor benefits were cut because they had a pension from their own job.
Unfortunately, that's how it worked before. But now, with the Social Security Fairness Act,
Right.
the surviving spouse will receive their full survivor benefit regardless of their pension.
It's really amazing to see how this law is correcting something that was unfair for so many people for so long.
It really is a significant step towards fairness and equity. And the speed at which these changes are happening is truly remarkable. It shows a real commitment to fixing these past injustices.
It's a great reminder that it pays to stay informed about these kinds of developments.
Yeah.
Social Security rules can be complicated, and changes like this can have a huge impact on people's lives.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
did you know that not all pensions trigger these reductions?
Oh, that's right.
There are some exceptions.
For example, pensions from certain federal jobs, railroad employment, and some foreign countries don't fall under the WEP and GPO. It can get a bit complex, but the Social Security Administration has detailed information available to help you determine if your pension is affected.
Now, we've been talking about the positive impact of this law, but are there any potential downsides that people should be aware of?
That's a good question. While the vast majority of people will see their benefits increase, there's a small percentage of individuals who might actually see a slight decrease.
Really?
Due to the way the calculations work.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How common are those situations, and what advice would you give to someone who might be concerned about that happening to them?
It's relatively uncommon, and Social Security will notify you directly if your benefits are affected. If you have any concerns, you can always reach out to them for clarification.
So transparency is key here. People will be informed if there are any changes. Now, we talked about spreading the word about these changes earlier.
Right.
A lot of people might not know about this and could be missing out.
Absolutely. Sharing this information with your friends, family, and colleagues is crucial. The more people who know about this, the better. This could make a real difference for someone you know.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you're finding this helpful, we encourage you to share it with others. Now, you mentioned that the specific increase someone sees
Right.
depends on several factors.
Yes.
Can you give us some concrete examples of how this might play out for different people?
Of course. Let's take a teacher in California, for instance. They worked for 25 years and are receiving a pension of $3,000 per month. Then they worked another 10 years in a job covered by Social Security before the Fairness Act.
Right.
They might have seen their Social Security benefit reduced by as much as $500 per month.
Wow. So they were losing out on $500 every month.
That's right. But now they'll get their full Social Security benefit based on their 10 years of contributions on top of their pension. They could see their monthly income increase by $1,000 or more.
That's significant. And what about someone like a firefighter in a state where they were covered by a pension system but also paid into Social Security?
In that case, their benefit reduction would have depended on their specific circumstances and how long they worked in each job. But with the Fairness Act, they can expect to see a boost in their benefit as well, potentially adding hundreds of dollars to their monthly income.
So this really is a game changer across various professions and pension systems. Now, another important question that often comes up is about taxes.
Yes.
Are these retroactive payments and benefit increases taxable?
That's a crucial point to clarify. Yes, these payments are considered taxable income just like regular Social Security benefits. However, the extent to which they're taxed depends on your overall income.
So it's a good idea to talk to a tax professional for personalized advice, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. A tax advisor can help you figure out exactly how these changes affect your specific tax situation.
Great advice. You know, this whole situation has really gotten me thinking about something.
What's that?
Well, we've been celebrating this victory for those who were unfairly penalized by WP and GPO.
Right.
But what about the people who passed away before these changes took effect? Their benefits were reduced or denied, but they're no longer here to receive this financial boost.
That's a really thoughtful question. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. There are likely legal and logistical hurdles to figure out if and how retroactive payments could be made to beneficiaries or estates of those who were impacted by WEP and GPO.
It definitely seems like something that needs further exploration. Perhaps this will lead to additional legislation or policy adjustments to address these unique circumstances.
It's certainly possible. This entire situation underscores how dynamic Social Security is and how important it is to continually evaluate and adapt the system.
You're right. It's a reminder that we can't just set things in motion and forget about them. We have a responsibility to make sure our systems are effective and fair and to make adjustments as needed.
Exactly. And that requires everyone to be involved, both policymakers and citizens. Staying informed, advocating for change, and participating in the democratic process are all essential for creating a more just and equitable society.
Well said. This has been a truly insightful conversation. We've covered so much from the details of the Social Security Fairness Act and its impact on individual benefits to larger issues of fairness, equity, and the future of Social Security.
It's been a pleasure exploring this important topic with you. These changes are bringing much-needed relief to millions and sparking important conversations about retirement security and the future of social safety nets.
And a huge thank you to all of you for joining us today. If you found this helpful, please share it with others who might benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated on future episodes where we'll continue to explore critical topics that impact your lives. If you liked today's episode, give us a like.
Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about these complex systems, the better equipped we are to navigate them and advocate for positive change.
Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious.